Hey guys, what's up? Al Bunny back with a commentary, and today I want to talk about EA as a publisher because very recently, in fact, just last week, EA was voted as the worst company in America. Not just worst publisher or worst video game related company, but worst company, period, in America. I don't feel that they deserve that title. Not to say that their business success has been off the charts, or they've been excellent in customer satisfaction, because they haven't. They're definitely among the worst publishers. But to call them the worst company in America, I don't see that being the case. Certainly the SimCity debacle. Everything from their microtransactions and all the problems they've had with Origin, and the list goes on and on. Yes, they're up there as being among the worst publishers in America. But I'm sure that the voting was off. I mean, I don't believe that EA is among the worst companies in America. But yes, certainly among the worst publishers. And if you want to argue that it has nothing to do with customer satisfaction, and that all that should matter is their sales, and because EA has really good sales. They own some of the biggest franchises in all of video games. They have Mass Effect. They have Madden, FIFA, and Battlefield. Those are huge franchises, and they sell very well, extremely well. That's why they're some of the biggest franchises, and certainly they're very notable among video gamers as great franchises. But as I mentioned before, the SimCity debacle, the problems they've had with Origin accounts being hacked and things of that nature, that's where the customer satisfaction part factors in. They've had pretty abysmal figures in customer satisfaction, especially in the past couple of years or so. But as I said before, every company in America, not just video game publishers or video game related companies, make mistakes that would alienate some customers and have them be dissatisfied. But like I said before, that really doesn't mean that EA is the worst company in America. I mean, based on the fact that they actually have popular games that people like and enjoy, and they sell well, that alone should be enough to remove them from being the worst company in America. And I'm pretty sure that they've actually suffered losses year after year in their gross income. But again, a lot of companies have a negative net income year after year, and that's just expected. Not every company out there is like Apple or Google that have only gains, only positive net gross gains. But anyway, that's the first topic. I also wanted to get into a smaller topic, and that has to do with the fact that college athletes aren't paid. They're amateur athletes. They're not professional athletes, and so the NCAA believes that college athletes should not be paid for their play, for their production. And this is actually a problem because in past, especially recently, colleges have secretly, behind closed doors, been paying their college athletes for being stars. I mean, college athletes sometimes, to give you an example, Johnny Manziel, freshman at Texas A&M, I believe, has become known nationwide as Johnny Football because he's an absolute star. He is a rock star, pretty much, out there. He's everywhere he goes, they know who he is. And when you're big like that, when you're so notorious, you really are almost like a professional athlete. And sometimes you deserve, or you feel you are entitled to, some form of revenue for the amount of publicity that you bring towards your college. And colleges sometimes actually recognize this, despite the fact that this is, it's against NCAA violations. They feel that the collegiate athlete is correct in saying that they deserve some form of revenue, and they've actually, behind closed doors, paid the athlete for their play on the field and whatnot, And recently, these colleges have been, they've been getting in trouble because the NCAA has, they've done their investigating, and they found out, that this has been going on behind closed doors. And the problem that I see is that collegiate athletes are, for the most part, they're there to get their education because, like 90%, I'm going to assume, of collegiate athletes don't ever turn professional, or, they just don't actually go pro here in the U.S. They go overseas somewhere where there's more opportunity for the less talented individuals to have a shot at playing professionally. But regardless, they're there for their education. Unless you're one of the star players, one of the extremely talented players who's no doubt about it. Future NBA star, NFL star, Major League Baseball star, Major League Soccer star, National Hockey League star. Unless you're one of those guys, no doubt about it, immense talent, then you're there for your education. But for those that are so marketable, they're so good and talented at what they do, they really should be given the opportunity to market themselves and make extra money while they're there in college. And I say this because a lot of collegiate athletes are there on scholarships if they're extremely talented, especially, and a lot of them come from very bad backgrounds. And by bad, I mean that some of them grew up in terrible neighborhoods. They grew up with only a single mother or a single father, and they just weren't well off financially, or they had legal troubles, anything like that. A lot of them have that problem, and they should be given the opportunity to make extra money for themselves, really. Because they're also helping out the university by bringing more publicity, more national attention. And keep in mind that universities, some of them have actual like TV contracts with regional sports networks, where they have their games aired on that regional sports network, and the university gets money from this. The biggest example, and actually I think this is the only example where it's nationally, Notre Dame University, which happens to be my favorite university, has a national television contract with NBC where they air all of the Notre Dame football games on NBC. And I mean, look at it this way. No NFL team has a national television contract with any network. That's how big it is. But the athletes see none of this money. All of this money goes toward the collegiate program of that university, but it doesn't come into play when you're an athlete there. And I can see both sides of that story, but certainly that the fact that the athletes get none of it, they get no compensation, I don't know. I kind of see that as being a bit underhanded, to be honest with you. But anyway, guys, that's my time for today. If you enjoyed any of this and would like to see more of this, please leave a like. Go ahead and comment if you want to weigh in on this. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out.
Example of entropy. Ace got that water, and I present water. 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 Ace got that water, and I present water.